This is 6th grade math, chapter 9, review. The first section says to name a positive or negative number to represent each situation. Number 1, Roberto has a debt of $34. A debt would be considered negative, so negative 34 represents that situation. Number 2, Shannon is 54 inches tall. The height would be a positive thing, so the answer is simply 54. The next section says to write the opposite of each integer. If the number is positive, just write the negative form of that number. If the number is negative, write the positive form. That's all you have to do. So the opposite of 8 is negative 8. For negative 21, positive 21. For positive 9, you would write negative 9. For negative 56, you would write positive 56. For 7 through 10, you're supposed to find the absolute value of each number. Those lines around the number say absolute value. Absolute value is defined as the distance from 0. So if you look at a number line, 9 is 9 spaces away from 0. The absolute value of 9 is 9. Number 8, the absolute value of negative 23. If you look on the number line, negative 23 is 23 spaces from 0. So its absolute value is 23. So as you can see, if the number is positive, just keep it positive. If it's negative, make it positive. Number 9 is 12, and number 10 is 42. For section 9-2, you have to write less than or greater than to make the statement true. Some kids have a little bit of trouble with this when it involves negative numbers. Picture the number line if you have trouble with it. Obviously, any positive number is greater than any negative number. Again, a positive is always greater than a negative. Now, here's where we run into trouble. Negative 9 and negative 7. If you look at them on the number line, negative 9 is to the left of negative 7. So negative 9 is actually less than negative 7. Again, we have a positive and a negative. The negative is always going to be less than the positive. The next section asks us to put the integers in order from least to greatest. Obviously, all the negatives will be before all of the positives. You can use a number line to help you if you get stuck on this. So we have negative 8, 3, 15. This one has a couple of negatives. That's the trickiest part. It goes negative 24, negative 11, 6, 35. Again, we have a couple of negatives over here and a 0 as well. So it goes negative 28. Doesn't want to take that. Just one second. Oh, it doesn't like that either. Negative 28, that's supposed to say negative 15, 0, 9, and 20. Number 18 says, the lowest temperature recorded in 2000 in Denver was 22 degrees Fahrenheit. The lowest temperature recorded in 2000 in Detroit was 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Compare the two temperatures using less than or greater than. So you could put 22 is less than 23, or you could put 23 is greater than 22. Either one of those would have been correct. Okay, we're supposed to give the ordered pair for each point on the graph. Remember that the x coordinate comes first, and that's the across number. So you go across first, then up or down. That's very important. If you reverse those two numbers, you will get the wrong answer. So let's find A. You always start at the origin, go over 2, up 4. So your answer is 2, 4. Point B is right here. Go across first, across to 3, down to -4. So your answer is 3, -4. Letter C is right here. Start at the origin, across to -3, down to -3. -3, -3. Point D is right here. Start at the origin, across to -4, up to 2. -4, 2. Okay, then we're also supposed to plot some points. The first point is F, which is -2, 5. Start at the origin, go across to -2, and up to 5. And then put a capital F. Number 24 says H is at 0, so across just to 0, which means stay there, and then up to 4, which would be right here, and you put your capital H there. (9-4) is adding integers. Obviously, 8 plus 6 is 14. Then for number 26, we have to identify that it is addition, and we are adding two numbers whose signs are different. So you actually subtract. 17 minus 4 is 13, and keep the sign that goes with the number with the greater absolute value, which is negative. Number 27, you need to recognize that you are adding two numbers whose signs are the same. So you add them up, 6 plus 9 is 15, and keep the sign that they share. 9-5 is on subtracting integers. Remember that we do not do subtraction problems that involve negative numbers. Now 10 minus 4 does not involve negative numbers, so we can just go ahead and do that. But then number 29, you recognize that as subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. So 6 plus 12 is 18. And, we've got another one like that. -5 minus -8, subtracting a negative, is the same as adding a positive. But now you follow your rules for adding integers. When you add two numbers whose signs are different, you subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, and keep the sign of the one with the greater absolute value, which was positive. We need to work a couple more subtraction problems because we did not do any here that required us to change to an addition problem. Here is an additional problem for you. Number 30A is -3 minus 8. We recognize that it is a subtraction problem involving negative numbers, and so we refuse to do it. We change it to an addition problem. The steps are: copy the first number, change the minus to a plus, and then change the sign of the second number. So we're saying that -3 minus 8 will give us the same answer as -3 plus -8, but we have rules for adding integers. Recognize this as adding two numbers whose signs are the same. Add them up and keep the sign that they share, which in this case is negative. So our original problem said -3 minus 8 and that equals negative 11.